My name is Stan Taffel, T-A-F-F-E-L, two F's like in Frank, E-L. And I am a film archivist and a motion picture and television historian. And because of my faith, the Jewish experience in film and television is very much at my core. And I have a private film collection that contains a lot of film with wonderful Jewish performers that go back to the silent era. Oh, wow, you got excited.
When were Jews silent?
Jews were silent because I'll show you exactly how Jews were silent, and I'm going to put this down so you can see how Jews were silent. Don't go. I'm going to hold my hand right here so you know that I'm not going. Jewish performers in silent films, unfortunately, fell victim to the same things that other ethnicities fell victim to. Here is a Jewish silent performer, and how can you tell they're Jewish? They would do... Isn't that terrible?
Well, is that what the director told them to do?
It was silent drama and silent comedy. There was a type of performing called Del Sart, and Del Sart was something that you would do on stage to over-emote things. For instance, oh, or overacting to show. And unfortunately, Jewish people tended to be known to be money-hungry and cheap and a little carefree, and unfortunately,
they were portrayed to be?
Yeah, but it kind of changed with one comedian named Max Davidson. Max Davidson was a wonderful comedian. Sorry, somebody was grabbing my champagne.
The night they invented champagne.
The 1958 GG Best Picture MGM, but there was a Broadway musical before that. Anyway, Max Davidson was an amazing comedian who was beloved all over the world, not just in the United States. What people tend to forget, and it's not even they tend to forget, they don't know in the 21st century, is that when dialogue entered films, 95% of the world film market died because a silent film could be shown with different subtitles all over the world. So Max Davidson was world famous. And by the time sound came in, when he started talking, he was not accepted by a lot of people, and there were protests because of the ethnicity of his accent, and his career pretty much faltered to the point where a few years later, he was almost begging for work. And if it were not for people like Charlie Chase at the Hal Roach Studios that would give him small bit parts just to keep his spirits up, he would have not worked at all. But he had his own two-reel comedy series at the Hal Roach Studios in the mid to late 1920s. He was in constant demand at many of the studios. Jackie Coogan used him in a couple of feature films over at Metro. And his two-reel comedies are among the finest two-reel comedies that were ever made. Films like, these are titles no one's going to know, but I know them. Pass the Gravy, a 1929 film that may be one of the 10 best silent two-reelers ever filmed. And it's all done just with gestures. A film called Call of the Cuckoo, in which Max Davidson appears with Stan Laurel, Oliver Hardy, Charlie Chase, James Finlayson, all the stars of the Hal Roach Studios. And it was these people that brought him back to work in films, including the Our Gang comedies. He has small roles in a few of them because they loved Max, even though he wasn't accepted as a major star anymore. And Max was one of the great Jewish comedians that nobody remembers. And I've talked to Hillary about running a few of his films here next year so everybody could experience what a real top comedian was in the end of the silent era. Plus, there was also, there were so many things that I would love to bring here on film. The very first talk show host of a talk show was a Jewish person.
Where? Keep us guessing.
I'm going to keep you guessing because it was a woman. And she started on a television network that was just beginning and practically offered her the airspace because she was so personable. And it was a television network that became the American Broadcasting Company.
Was it the Dumont Network?
No, ABC. It was ABC, and she started the very first talk show, and it was not a man, and it was not Steve Allen, and it was not Jack Parr. And and I actually have archived three of her episodes, and they're all lost. But I discovered 3 of the episodes in a film archive because that's what I do. I do dumpster diving. When things are being thrown away and I see film on a reel, I will jump. I have clothing ready for the occasion.
You go to auctions?
I have, but the auction stuff, well, I will go. You know what I do? I mean, I will contact families to see if they have films of their ancestors, basically, because that's what it's come to now, ancestors.